my light. Crazy. Hello, hello, hello. It is Adrienne, Capricorntigress of astrology.com. And I'm here with two very special guests this week. And I'm so excited that they're here with me, and I can't wait to introduce them to you. We have Christoph here. And Christoph, his biography is that he, let's see. Oh, he has an affiliate program. Okay. He's proud of the two books that he's published, which have inspired people to dig into their own imagination and creativity. You know, he is from Bavaria, Germany, but he's lived most of his life in the capital of Berlin. He studied Qigong, I hope I'm saying that right, in New York City with Afro-American teachers after reading about it in a book. And his background lies in physiotherapy and body-based trauma therapy, which brings people back to a 0 point and an imagination that can lift them into infinity. Oh, we're going to talk about that. Also, empowering your imagination is the basis for every big endeavor in your life. So that's his advice, empowering your imagination. I love this, Christoph. So we're going to talk with him in just a moment. I also want to introduce you to our second guest that we have here, which is Robin. And Robin is amazing because she has an amazing name. She is Robin, Iron Goddess of Mercy. Okay, so we are so excited to have her here. And she has been a healer and a teacher for about 20 years. And she has what was that? This is an alphabet of letters after her name, which is great. So she actually feels like the work that she does chose her, and she was searching for what was broken within her. And she finally realized that nothing was broken. And she knew that she needed to help others realize that too. Oh, Robin, I love this. So she is someone who is very committed. And also she realizes that she can only take her clients as far as she's willing to take herself. And that applies to all of us when it comes to our clients. So we're going to talk with Robin a little bit about what she does, but I like to go in alphabetical order. So we're going to start with you, Robin. We're going to start with you. First, I want to find out, what are the names of the books that you wrote?
Christoph? With me? Yeah.
Yeah, the names of the books that you wrote. I took it. I'm sorry, I got you.
The first, it's nonfiction. It's Imagination, the secret nobody talks about.
Ooh.
And the second one is a novel, and it's called Jinn in the Sexosphere.
Jinn, that's how you say. Oh no, okay, I like that. So that's a sexual sphere, right? That's all about.
It's basically, so the Sexosphere is a lucid dreaming locale, and it's about this guy's journey in becoming better with women and his own sexuality and dating and relating. And then he starts to lucid dream, and he enters the Sexosphere. And there he meets many mysterious teachers that teach him a thing or two.
Nice. Oh, that sounds exciting, actually. It sounds like a screenplay. I was envisioning the movie. That's definitely something that should go into a movie. Like, I want to see that, right? Whatever.
That's the plan. That's the plan.
I feel like I could see that. I was like, that's a movie.
Yeah. The energy around that movie is hot. I'm ready to go see it already. The sexosphere. Oh, I love it. Yes, that's very, very good. So I wanted to talk about what you had said about setting people back to zero, like getting them back to like that ground zero, that point zero. We all carry around so much gunk in us because, well, life, right? So how do you go about getting people reset back to zero?
Yeah, because often our traumas, they kind of pull us back into our past, like old emotions come up, visuals, whatever. So you really want to ground the person in the present moment. You have them feel into their body, like how do your legs connect to the ground? How does your back maybe connect to the chair you're sitting on? Do you see anything in the room you're in? Just get a look for the view, orient yourself, because also orientation is really important. Because like sometimes we wake up from a dream and we're like disoriented, like, oh, where am I? What time is it? So it's for us really important also to be oriented in space and time. So then you have people take a look around, like make them feel really grounded and safe and secure. And also then you invite like good feelings in the body. Like right now, is there anything that feels safe or good or just neutral or whatever? And then when you have this like positive anchor, then we can invite some, more distressing material. And then you can like pendulate back and forth between like what's feeling good, what's feeling bad. And then the discharge of the bad can look as like tears, like a big yawn, or maybe it's like a scream, but also like shaking is so often when people, and that's important for everyone who's listening, if you want to give first aid, like someone has a bicycle accident or whatever, often we're like in this like really like shaking motion afterwards. And this is a way for the body to process the trauma and get the stuck energy out of the system. Also, animals do that in the wild. That's why they don't get traumatized, because they're living like life and death every day, many. But in our society, often we're then encouraged to suppress our emotions and our wild like screams and shakings. And maybe we get like a sedation from the doctors, or people tell us like, calm down. But the right thing would do like go through the motion, like really feel the energy inside of you. That's it in a nutshell.
That's great. So you're helping people to express the emotion that's actually in there, they're suppressing in a way.
Exactly. It's like the emotion, and then also, so maybe you've heard of fight and flight reflex.
Oh yeah.
And also the freeze response,
right.
which is if fight or flight doesn't work, then we and also animals go into like the freeze.
Yes.
It's like what whales do when they like dive down and they don't have to take a sip of air for 45 minutes. So all our systems like go into low mode. And so sometimes we have like, we wanted to fight or we wanted to run away, but trauma, one definition of trauma is also like too fast, too much. So our response got cut short. So you try then to help people to feel back into this response and bring it to a completion, like bring it full circle. So, and then, one cycle of action comes to rest, and then often we feel way more relaxed, at ease in our bodies, in better connection to the people around us, everything.
That sounds wonderful. I'm a sacred soul light healer, which is a different type of modality altogether, but it's about getting grounded and healing inside. And you're right. When people are releasing, there's usually yawns, burps, shaking, moving, crying. It's amazing because you don't realize you're just, I guess you're getting to that place where all the gunk is hidden. So we hide that within ourselves. It's amazing. Don't even realize we're doing it. Do you have any advice for people who are perhaps going through a traumatic event? Any advice for them in particular, or perhaps a way for them to reach out to you, perhaps?
Yeah, so the best is if you have really, like, you think you have like really serious trauma, it's really good to work with someone in person. The modality that I was studying, it's called somatic experiencing, and there are many practitioners all over the world. It's really like taking off. And you just Google for somatic experiencing, and usually, I mean, people are in different stages, you know, some just complete the school, others are like more experienced, but you will figure it out, and you just go for someone that you feel you feel safe with and can open up to. And I think it's really good to work with a person, like work with someone in person, because what's happening during this, we are borrowing the nervous system of the practitioner, so we can, you know, like refeed the less functional nervous system that we show up with. So it's like this balance and this really beautiful connection that you have. It's like going to church, but like one-on-one. It's like you're
I love it. I never been to church. I love it. We're going to come back and talk more with you, Christoph, because there's a lot there, right? There's a lot there we got to talk about. But I want to give Robin a chance. I want to hear about Robin, and also the most important thing I want to find out about Robin is how she got the name Iron Goddess of Mercy. I'm playing at the bed. I've got to know.
Okay, all right. So when I was getting my first coaching certificate, or I don't know, whatever, I was doing it out in a place where they had this coffee shop. It was like a locally sourced, really organic food stuff, and they had all these teas. They had a wall of teas on their wall, and one of the teas that they happened to have on the wall was this. It was a oolong tea, and it was called the Iron Goddess of Mercy. I was like, oh my god, that's an amazing name! I loved it. Holy cow! Like I really was like really taken with this tea. I loved it. And so I had it with lunch, and it was delicious. It was a delicious tea. And then after lunch, we all went back and we did this amazing, incredible meditation where we got to go 20 years into the future and meet our future selves. And it was like this really powerful meditation. And it was like one of those moments where some broken parts of me snapped together, right? It really got to. And so one of the questions we got to ask our future selves was, what's the name other than your name that you go by? And she said to me, well, of course I'm the Iron Goddess of Mercy. And I was like, of course you are.
Of course you are.
Right. So I haven't, it's just been my mind, because it was so resonant. And now I actually truly 15 years later, feel like I really embody that woman that I was in that future self meditation. Who knows, was the name the part of it or not, but like I can say for certainty I am that Iron Goddess of Mercy. And so it's like one of those
beautiful. Yeah. I love it. I love that story. I love that name. It's awesome.
Same.
Tell me a little bit about what you do, how you help people, and your, you know, how this all ties in with the Iron Goddess of Mercy.
So what I call myself is a happiness coach, right? Which is right? Because who doesn't need more happiness? What I do is I help people a lot, like what Christoph was just talking about, is really unpack the trauma and all the BS that's held us in stasis for a really long time. So I do tons of inner child and shadow work, and it really is in service of like your light is here on the planet for a reason. And we need you to shine your light more than anything else. Is the world is going to heal because everybody is going to shine our light, and that's what's going to change us. But if you keep playing out old patterns and limiting beliefs in places of not being good enough and not being enough and not being okay, if there's something like fundamentally broken that you think is still inside of you, then you can't, it's like you can't be who you're meant to be in the world. And I lived it. Like I spent my whole life trying to fit into this mold that I clearly don't fit into.
Yeah.
I'm this rainbow sheep, this like sort of spastically crazy person, and I didn't fit, right? So I always thought there was something wrong with me because I didn't necessarily fit in like a you do this, then you do this kind of society. And eventually I figured out that there really was nothing wrong with me, and it was completely okay to be me. And now I'm like, oh, people need this so much, so desperately.
Yes.
Right. So the Iron Goddess of Mercy is really like, I am infinitely compassionate, and I am fierce about your growth because I love all of you, and I want you to love all of you the way I do. Right. So there's like this infinite compassion of.
I love that. There are so many people broken.
Yes. Or they think they're broken. Right? They think they're broken.
Or think they're broken. Right.
Yes.
Because they're holding on to the pain of that one thing that kind of broke them. I relate to this. I am one of those people. I have had so many coaches, so many people who have been like, come on, Adrienne, you can do it. We're going to lift you out of this. And some people, the trauma is so deep.
Right.
Because the life has been full of trauma. I don't know if either of you know about astrology, but I was born with Saturn in the first house. It's my chart ruler. Okay. So I want to write my book too, but my book has got like somber music in the background.
But the thing is, those traumas, I mean, I don't minimize anybody's trauma. Like I really, truly am not one of those like only love and light kind of person. Like I really actually believe that like there's trauma that happens. It's big T trauma, right? Big T trauma is like a soul contract. Your soul came in to like learn this lesson. Yeah. And then there's little T trauma, which is anytime you weren't allowed to be who you are, is little T trauma. And they both have this. So like, but it made you who you are. Like it's part of you. Right. So what is it? How is it the best thing that's ever happened to you for you? Because it happened. If it wasn't supposed to happen, then it wouldn't have happened. So it did happen.
Yeah.
So how do you learn from it? It made you an advocate. It made you a healer. It made you this amazing person. Yeah. Right. It's like trauma. Yeah. We all have trauma.
Oh, yeah. I mean, here's the crazy thing. I hate to say my age, but I got to this age and I swear I just learned this lesson within the last year or two, which is all of the everything I've been through is so that I can be the teacher, healer, astrologer, coach, whatever I am today. Yes. So when people come to me with the craziest of things, I'm like, child, sit down, let's talk.
Right. You can hold this space, that's this vast space. Yes.
Like a knowing. And I realized, oh, that's why that happened.
Exactly.
So I could be of assistance to her or him, or right? People come to you with these stories and you think, oh my gosh, no wonder I went through that.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
It's hilarious. Now, I love that you said you're a happiness coach. So how do you go about helping people get back to that place of happiness and joy?
I tell people all the time that I specialize in teaching people to fall in love with themselves. So what I really do is I teach people that the parts of them that they judged as broken or bad or wrong or not okay or whatever, or that some other well-intentioned or maybe not parent, guardian, family, society said was bad or wrong or not okay. I teach them that those are your magic. That's where your power is. That's where your juice is. That's where the parts of you that like we need in the world are. So I really do teach people how to embrace those parts of themselves. And sometimes we have to go back in time. Sometimes we have to pull your energy out of those situations. And I do this regression healing. It's a full energetic reset where I take you all the way back into the soul plane. and remind you then of what it felt like to be sort of in the no place, no time, only love space. And we bring that energy back up through you so that you get to be the one you needed when you needed it.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, I do
That's
tons of
beautiful.
forgiveness work, like tons of shadow inner child stuff, and it's really, really, truly all in service of teaching people to fall in love with themselves.
And that's a hard thing. I mean, for people to, because we're taught not to love ourselves, right? Don't think too much of yourself. You're putting
Don't
too
get
much
ahead of
emphasis
yourself.
on you.
Right.
I come from a huge family. It was like the King family. My grandmother had 13 children, and she had several children who had 13 children. And there was like 100, I had 105 cousins, if you can imagine such a thing. So it was a really crazy situation. And I was like the least of them. So, shut up, get in your place, go in your hole, get in that corner. No one wants to hear you. You don't got anything important. They would literally say that. Shut up, sit down. No one cares about what you got to say.
Right.
Imagine growing up with that. So I was just like this little, and one cousin used to call me the gray meatball because I'm Black, but I don't know, I've got this weird coloring and I'm kind of gray, I am. And I grew up with that where, they would make my nose turn red because I'm a Black person with red nose and, weird things growing up in that family, the trauma. But it was a learning experience.
Right.
Because I had to go through that to become stronger, to break free of that family and be myself.
Exactly.
That was an entire journey. Gosh,
exactly. And it's a lifelong journey to do that. And amazing. I'm so thank you for showing up and doing that work, because clearly the world needs your light. Like there's this big, giant, amazing energy in there. Yeah. So clearly we needed you.
Well, it's funny though, no matter, because even though you get up, you come out, you show yourself, you do what you do, you're, at least myself, I still know that battle is still going on inside. How do you help people to overcome that? Either one of you, if you want to jump in there on that, how do you help people to overcome the shadow, the demons, or whatever the past within them? Either of you want to?
You want to answer that first, Christoph, or do you want me to take that one?
You can take it first.
I mean, what I do is I make that part of them okay. I learned how to make friends with my demons. I mean, really, truly, I got one of my many alphabet of letters after my name is a certification in Ho'oponopono, and that's the Hawaiian prayer of forgiveness.
Yeah.
And so the thing I found that helped me the most was I did Ho'oponopono to my gremlin, to the place of me that said, you're not good enough. There's nothing special about you. You're just a monumental pain in the ass. Like all of that sort of programming that I got as a kid. So you're too big, too much, too loud. Stop. We don't, right? So I said Ho'oponopono in the mirror, but I said it to that part of me. And the first phrase of a Ho'oponopono is I love you, which at the time I couldn't say. I couldn't even say I like you. I couldn't even say that to myself in the mirror, right? So I really, really had to work. I'd be like, you'll do. You're okay. You don't suck, right? And that's what I teach my clients to do is like, what step can you make? Where are you at? What place can you get to turn down? Because fighting against that demon is never going to work. If you fight against something, it fights back.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like we make it bigger.
We do. Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
So how do I just teach them to turn the volume down on it a little bit. Right. Thank you. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for protecting me. Thank you for keeping us safe. You kept us safe for so long. Thank you. I got it from here, but thank you for showing up.
And I love that you said that you mastered the Ho'oponopono. That was something that got me through my marriage ending. I just remember every day, when I got in the shower, just saying it all day, every day. Mm-hmm. And it was I just remember standing in the shower crying, saying it over and over and over and over, and doing all my little rituals to get through what I had to get through. Right. So that is amazing. Have you, work with the Ho'oponopono with other people, helping them to break through their issues?
Yeah, I kind of use Ho'oponopono as one of the pillars of my practice. I use Ho'oponopono in like a process of like, just feel your feelings. Just feel them, their feelings, energy and motion. Like Christoph was talking about that fight or flight, right? We get that emotional response, right? If we allowed, like kids, remember, let's watch kids, they cry their hearts out and then they're fine, right? Energy and emotion. So Ho'oponopono is one of the things I do work with my clients on all the time. Nothing happens outside of your energy field. Let's make peace with it. Ho'oponopono and feel your feelings.
Yeah. That's amazing. For some reason, I wanted to ask Christoph about he had said fight, flight, or freeze, about the freeze. What happened? How do you help people to get out of the space when they're frozen?
Well, so yeah, often when people are frozen, they have like really limited expression. They don't talk so much. I mean, it's also never like 100%. It's always like layers. You can also see it in the digestive tract. Like we have like all these like inflammations, and how do we call them? Blah blah bowel syndrome. Like all these kinds of things that like mess with our digestion. Also, many of these things are part of that. You invite people, you can invite them into more expressive movement, because often we're like in this like closed in bodily posture. Like how could you express yourself more, maybe with your body or with your voice? So you bring in more life force, you invite more expression and vitality.
Okay. The reason why I ask this, I always like to be personal about everything. But I've been separated now since 2018, and I have yet to date now. That's 4 years, right? We're 2022. And I'm thinking, is there any, I'm obviously in freeze, right? I'm in freeze. That's why I came back to the question. I know I'm in freeze. I've been approached, but I'm frozen. Like I don't. And I'm sure this happens with people after a bad relationship, right? They go into the freeze or whatever this is. I mean,
maybe a shortcut, because always our physiology, like our emotions, are also always mirrored in our breathing pattern, which changes from second to second. And when we're frozen, often it's just like maybe we inhale and we hold it, like a tiny shock even. So you can also use the breath like kind of to power through the freeze. So when you realize like, oh, I'm a bit frozen, and my breath maybe becomes very shallow and more in the upper regions only. Invite like a stronger breathing pattern, like maybe.
So it will give me more courage to reach out, maybe, because I am closed. My boundaries are so high, man. It's like castle to climb. I can see Robin wants to say something. Go ahead.
Well, I just want to ask, like, so like we just talked about, if you're pushing up against something, you're pushing up against something. And I love to breathe. Breath work is amazing to breathe into that stuff. But like, what's a 1 degree shift that you could make? Like, what's like one degree that would let in just a little bit of light into the walls of the castle, right? So it doesn't have to be, I'm going to go from here to a relationship, because that feels, no, thank you, I'm going to stay right here. It's safer, right?
Yeah.
That's terrifying.
Yeah.
And that, I think, is that freeze place that we talk about, right? So it's like, so we're in this freeze, and you can, what would breathe if you just breathe into the space, and like, what does 1 degree shift look like in terms of allowing some vulnerability? What is one space that you could do that would maybe it's mirror work, or maybe it's an intimacy practice with a friend, or right, maybe it's one step that allows in an extra breath, an extra, right?
Yeah.
Rather than this.
there have been guys who have approached me, but my boundaries are really high. When I say I shut them off, I mean, they'll call, I don't answer the phone. They'll message me, I'm like, hi, and I just don't answer again. Like, I just not there.
And let that be okay. Like maybe you really sit and make friends with your broken heart and be like, it's okay. We're gonna sit here until you feel okay. Right.
Right. I'm not upset. I've pono that out. I've done my resentment work, my anger work. I've done my healing. I've done all of that. But I'm in that frozen, like when someone's like, I like you, I'm like,
yeah.
Are you, if I may ask, are you connecting to yourself in a sexual way also? Like, do you stoke your own flames or?
Occasionally, but it's not the same. It's not like I have any real, it's not like, it's not the same. I don't have any of that like desire to go and meet anyone, go out, flirt. I don't want to do any of it. I'm not there. I don't even know. I think I might even have just closed the door for good. That sounds bad. I know I'm not supposed to say that, but.
Well, it may be that you're just still in your fallow period. Like it may be that you're still in, like we all, even like farmers in their fields, they'll plant and then they lie it fallow, and then they plant and then they lie it fallow. It allows the soil to regenerate. So like, again, what if, right? So what if you're just still regenerating? And that's what I'm saying. Like sit with your heart and be like, it's totally okay that you want to be out. You don't want to be out there again. So, right. Like, so there's no pressure. There's nothing wrong with it. You just get to say, if we want to, we can, but we don't have to. We're just going to integrate and be with ourselves right now. Yeah. That invites in a possibility. That doesn't even, that allows.
That's exactly what I've been telling myself, Robin. Like, I'm just going to sit with me now. It's all, I'm going to sit with myself for now and heal myself for now. And I guess build the castle and block himself off with the bricks.
No, don't build walls. You have enough walls, right? We don't have to build any more walls, right? We don't need armed guards, a retinal scan, and then you scale the moat and there's a dragon. Okay.
I feel so bad because this one guy called me. He's like, "Are you ever going to call me back?" Or like the desperation.
Probably not.
I don't think so. I don't see it happening, dude.
It's not in the stars.
Okay, I've got this thing, and I don't know how we got on the dating, but I got this thing. Like, if you can't get through the courting phase without cheating on me, I'm done. That's my first red flag. If you can't give me like a month of just me and you, like me getting to know you and you saying, I want to be with you. But if I find out within that 30-day period, you already invited another third person into the relationship, then there is no relationship. It's done. And I don't come back from that. Like, this dude he cheated with a neighbor and he thinks I'm going to bounce back from it. No. Okay. You're on the I'm never going to date list. Don't call me. We'll be friends. And that's a permanent friend list. Like, I don't know if that's part of my freeze, because I'm hard to climb over.
Why would you want to date someone who's like elsewhere?
I cannot tolerate that. Cannot tolerate it at all. Or someone that says, oh, I'm really into you. Let's get together. And then you don't hear from them for a week, 2 weeks. I'm like, dude, this is done. I'm sorry.
So is it really that you have a wall, or is it that you're just really discerning?
I guess I'm the flags, the thing. And when I see them, I just stop. I was like, and that's it. I don't call. I don't respond. It's done. I just disappear. I like slowly. I just don't talk with them. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if that's healthy or not. if it's protection, I don't know what it is, but yeah. That's why I'm just like, I figure you had the sexual book, so I thought I would throw that at Christoph to see what he thought about that, like the blocking, like.
Yeah. I think there's two impulses. No, there's one impulse that wants to go out and meet people, and the other persona that doesn't want to get hurt again.
Right. That's probably behind it all.
But I think there at one time, like, their balance of power will shift, and then the impulse to go out will come through stronger. And also what I really like, this idea that yes lives in the land of no. So you have many like no, yes. But you have to, like suffer, quote unquote, through the no's and keep going.
I know exactly what you mean. Like you have to kiss a lot of frogs to get to a prince. So that could be part of it.
Or you have to say no to somebody else as a yes to you. Right? You have to yes to you might be no to somebody else, but it's coming from a yes for you.
Yes. I love that. I love that because it's about empowerment.
Absolutely.
It puts it in a place of empowerment, right? So it is about saying yes to what feels right inside of me. There's a reason why the red flag alarm went off. The freeze, like stop. It literally stops me in my tracks. So yeah, the reason I brought that up is I was dealing with someone that deals with narcissistic abuse, and they were just saying that is the biggest issue of bouncing back from narcissistic abuse is that they freeze. You just don't come back into the dating pool ever. And I don't want to be that person. I want to eventually get back to it. But man, the fear, the freeze, that is real. That is a real thing. Mm-hmm. And, it's one thing to see it on paper, but it's another thing to experience it, the fight, freeze, or flight, or whatever. And I know the freeze to be real. Like that was it. That was it. And I dedicate my life to doing things like this. So I get to meet more people. I get to do more things and not concentrate on that. Because it's just that one part of my life that I think is not, it's not there. It's just not frozen. So yeah, we'll have to fix that. That's a whole different conversation, but we'll have to fix that part of it, right? We'll have to fix that. So let me ask you, Christoph and Robin. I'll start with you, Christoph, because I like to go alphabetically. Is there anything that you would like to share or say with our audience that we might not have covered yet so far?
So what's your audience is super into astrology? Like what's their main?
Well, I always say I bring on spiritual entrepreneurs, but my followers are most likely astrology followers, tarot followers, healing followers, because I do healing on my page. And of course, I always bring on the spiritual entrepreneurs to come and talk about what they do. But yeah, we're just a woo-woo crowd, pretty much. Okay. All the things woo-woo, pretty much.
Perfect. So if you're into astrology and you want to bring in imagination, I would recommend you take your favorite sign and you write about it, or like make a play about it. Like really expand it, like a day in the life of a Leo or whatever, and then you make Leo like Leo on another planet, or like Leo goes for a date with I don't know, Capricorn.
I like Capricorn. Very good job. That's amazing.
So you can personalize it, and like expand it for yourself. Like you can also go beyond also maybe like the meaning that's in the books or wherever it is, but you have your own field there with it and play around.
It's such a great idea. Such a great way of doing things with astrology.
Man, I love that. That was such a cool idea, right? That was a really cool idea.
It was really a great idea. Yeah. So let's see, Robin, let's see. Is there anything you would like to say to our audience that you might not have had a chance to say yet?
What I would like to say is nothing has ever happened to you. Everything has only ever happened for you, for your growth, for your service. And if we believe that we live in a friendly universe, and I really do strongly believe that we live in a friendly universe, and everything is God, right? Everything is God. That means everything is God, right? So even the things that we think are bad or wrong or terrible or even evil aren't really. It's just what the 1 degree shift that we can make is like, what is this for? What is this here to teach me? How is this for me? And if you choose that question every single day, that's your 1 degree shift. How is this for me? What is this here to teach me? And I believe it so strongly that I just want people to know it. I'm just like, please get this. Please get this.
Yes, it takes away the suffering, doesn't it? When you know that everything is happening for a reason.
Right.
And it's not arbitrary. It's all for a purpose.
Right.
And it's hard for people to get that. It's the hardest thing, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah. But it's so worth it.
Yeah. That's really hard, especially when you're in pain. That's the hardest part of it.
Sometimes you just have to sit, though. You have to, like, we do so much that like tries to like try to escape from that pain, right? But if you could just sit in it. And this is why I think, like Christoph says, you can't do this work alone, right? I do think you need someone who can sort of help you hold that space, be the healer. You allow your mirror neurons to attach to their like your eye, right? Your mirror neurons are going to pick it up. So give yourself the space to do it, but like sit in the feeling of it.
I love that. I love that. And I think in a way, it's why I bring you guys on every year this is my 3rd year doing it in the summer of bringing on the spiritual entrepreneurs. And I love doing it because the feedback that I get, the things that you're doing, that's changing lives out there. It really does. I don't know. I just feel like I feed off of the energy that I get from a lot of you guys. So thank you so much. So there's something I like to do whenever I have guests, which is I like to guess what their signs are. So I've been secretly watching both of you and trying to guess what your signs are. And I'm telling you, you're both stumping me. It's kind of throwing me off a little bit. Now, Christoph, I am really, he's got such a great smile, right? So I'm trying to figure out, and he's got the light complexion and stuff. So I'm trying to figure out what he might be. It's one of the signs that always stumps me is Taurus, but I'm thinking more of a Leo or an Aquarius. Or Gemini?
This is a hint, maybe.
Oh, the Cancer? What? Pisces or Cancer?
Pisces. The imagination, right? The dreamer.
Pisces or Cancer? What is the alcohol? What sign are you?
Cancer.
The Cancer. When he said this is the end, I said Cancer. Cancers are the biggest drinkers. I love them. They always like having fun. They're fun. That's great. And that's the countenance too. Cancer is the summer sign. And I sense that about you. Very good. Also emotional. They're very deeper emotion than people realize. So yeah. I love it.
True.
I love it. Yeah. I love it. Now let's see. What are we going to see about Robin? So to me, I just see Aquarius, but I don't know if you are an Aquarius or I don't know. I'm only seeing like Leo or an Aquarius. What are you?
I'm an Aries.
Aries.
Yeah.
Aries.
So I'm an Aries. I'm going to do it my way. God damn it. But that's
why I was thinking Aquarius, because of the independence. You're obviously an independent person.
It's the independence. But so my Virgo is rising, which gives me that I'm going to be of service. That's why it tempers the Aries. And my moon's in Scorpio, which gives me my intensity.
Gotcha.
That's why I stumped you, because I don't fit the mold.
And also I got a moon in Taurus, so that it kind of threw me off, that Scorpio moon.
Yeah.
I had read once the only thing that stumps a Taurus moon is a Scorpio moon. So I'm just
and here we are.
I love it. And that Aries, that is the independence about you is what I was trying to pull out when I said Aquarius. Right. It is so evident about you that you are an independent personality. And Christoph, is so evident about you that you are an emotional feeling personality. It comes across. It's amazing. It's amazing. So you guys, I want to thank you guys so much for being here today. By the way, I didn't even ask, did you guys put your links, your business links in the chat for me? Can you do that for me?
And
yeah, that way I can share your information on YouTube. I want to make sure I got the right links to share.
Would you share it right now?
Yeah.
Is it live?
Yeah, you could just share it. That way, before I close out, it'll be in the chat notes. That's why I wanted to make sure I got all the links there. Yeah. So I've had so much fun, you guys. This is always awesome. A pleasure. Yes.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm going to invite you guys. I think when I emailed you, you might have seen it, but I'm going to put it right here so you guys have it. I want to invite you both to come join me in our Facebook group. Come join us.
Yes.
Our Facebook group is Astrology, A Look Inside. And it's, it's just about 500 or so of us there, maybe about almost 600. And we just have a good time.
Nice.
Talk about astrology, pretty much. That's it. So, yeah. So you guys, if there's no more questions for me, I like to put on the music and dance on out of here. So let's dance on out of here. Many blessings, you guys.
Thank you, Adrienne. It was awesome.
It's so much fun.
Loved it.
Thank you. Thank you, Christoph. I got it right there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Blessings.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.